It is March the 12th, 2021. I'm Andy, and this is the Minorcan Mullet Report from the Golden Ray Rec site in the St. Simons Sound. Well, we got out today, and the VB was cutting. It looks like they're progressing. We can see that chain kind of moving across the top. We've got kind of a special thing coming up for you guys that have wanted to see the chain inside of the ship. We actually were able to get a very slight glimpse of the chain. That'll be coming up. We're going to show that. A little surprise for you guys. But they were cutting and making some headway, and then they stopped. Now, we understand they stopped earlier in the day, possibly to shorten the chain. You know, as this chain progresses up through the decks of the Golden Ray, they get to the point where they've got to kind of shorten the chain to go back and cutting. We think that happened earlier today, and we were out and they were cutting and then stopped. Maybe this was a maintenance check or a survey of the cut. We're not really sure what was going on there, but we did see them stop. But we got some pictures coming up here where you can see the chain is still progressing across the hull, as well as the top side of the ship. And we also have a kind of a shot back a little bit so you can see how that angle, particularly on the offshore or the right side cutting block, you can really see how that angle is really beginning to increase as that chain starts to move across the top side of the Golden Ray. And hopefully we see this continue. Now, while we're out there, the monitor boats, the tugs were out and looked like they were working the environmental barrier, washing it down, maybe pushing contaminants back into the environmental barrier where they can be dealt with. But they were kind of working their way around the Golden Ray. This has kind of become a routine thing where we see this boat working this big fire monitor, if you will, this big hose, and it's working that environmental barrier. And that was ongoing for a good part while we were out there. And we're sure that as part of the maintenance program to keep the marine growth off of, I'm sure it helps that, but also it helps keep the contaminants that may be against that inside of that barrier kind of pushed back into the barrier where they can be dealt with by some of the other crews and some of the other mechanisms they have in there for removing that stuff. Now, coming up, what we're going to show you is we've got kind of a red line where we drew from a photo, and if you look just above and maybe to the left a little bit of this red line in these decks, you're going to see the chain kind of just laying in there. I know it's dark in there, and it's kind of hard for us to make it out, but we started studying it, and yeah, just above that line, you can make out that cutting chain between those decks. So it is making headway. They are getting the cutting done. Maybe not as quick as we were hoping. We're actually hoping to see this thing kind of progress along a little bit further. We'll see what tomorrow brings, but it may be that they're not able to get this thing lifted up this weekend. We've got a couple other shots coming up for you guys here. The alley bell there. Now, another thing we want to talk about a little bit about is the debris. We got a report today that there was some material, a door panel that was found off Christmas Creek. That's in Cumberland Island, in the Cumberland, between Big Cumberland and Little Cumberland to the south. And then we know that they've had a piece of debris that was found up off Egg Island, which is kind of more or less a sandbar that's north of Little St.simons. So the debris is starting to drift around and getting a little bit of distance, and that's concerning. But we're hoping that the quicker we can get this thing out, maybe we can arrest some of that debris. Hey, you guys, hit the subscribe button if you hadn't done it. We'll ask you to send some comments. I know it's kind of short tonight, but it's what we got for a Friday. And hey, we want you guys to stay safe out there.